Have you ever noticed that someone who admires you deeply often seems to ignore you? It's puzzling, isn't it? You might think, how could someone who admires me not want to connect? But what if I told you their apparent indifference might stem from deeper psychological truths? Today, we're going to explore why the ones who admire you a lot might just seem to ignore you. Let's dive into these intriguing insights. Segment 1. The complexity of admiration. First, let's unpack the complexity of admiration. Admiration often carries a mix of emotions, including respect, attraction, and even insecurity. When someone admires you, they may feel a deep sense of appreciation for your qualities, talents, or achievements. However, this admiration can also trigger feelings of vulnerability. They might worry about how their feelings will be received, and whether they can truly connect with someone they hold in such high regard. This conflict of emotions can lead to hesitancy in expressing their admiration, creating an emotional distance that can be confusing. Furthermore, the way admiration manifests can vary significantly from person to person. For some, admiration is expressed openly, through compliments, support, or even gestures of affection. For others, it might come in more subtle forms, such as lingering glances or quiet observation. This variability can complicate interactions, as the admired individual may interpret the lack of overt attention as indifference, while the admirer is wrestling with their feelings internally. Understanding that admiration doesn't always equate to action is crucial for both parties in navigating this intricate emotional landscape. Additionally, admiration can sometimes create an imbalance in perceived power dynamics within a relationship. When one person admires the other deeply, they may feel inferior or unworthy, leading them to withdraw rather than engage. This feeling of inadequacy can trigger self-doubt, causing them to second-guess their worthiness of your attention. As a result, they might choose to ignore you, believing that stepping back is a safer option than risking rejection or disappointment. Recognizing that these feelings of inferiority can influence their behavior helps clarify why they might seem distant. Lastly, it's essential to acknowledge that admiration can be a double-edged sword. While it can foster connections, it can also lead to unrealistic expectations. The admirer may begin to idealize the admired person, placing them on a pedestal and overlooking their flaws. This idealization can create pressure on both individuals. The admirer may feel they have to maintain a perfect image, while the admired may feel burdened by the expectations placed upon them. By understanding this complexity, both parties can work towards fostering a more balanced and genuine connection, where admiration is expressed without the weight of unrealistic expectations. Segment 2. Fear of rejection. Another reason for this behavior is the fear of rejection. When someone admires you, they often place you on a pedestal, viewing you through a lens of idealization. This admiration can make them feel vulnerable and exposed, as they might worry that showing their true feelings could lead to disappointment. The thought of being turned down or dismissed can be paralyzing, making it difficult for them to engage with you openly. Their hesitation isn't a reflection of their feelings. Rather, it's a defense mechanism designed to protect their self-esteem. This fear of rejection is often rooted in past experiences. Individuals who have faced rejection in previous relationships or social interactions may carry these scars into new encounters. The emotional pain of past rejections can create a barrier, causing them to withdraw rather than risk experiencing that hurt again. This cycle can perpetuate a sense of distance, as their admiration and desire to connect are overshadowed by their fears. Recognizing this pattern can help both partners approach the situation with understanding and compassion. Moreover, the fear of rejection can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. When someone is overly concerned about being rejected, they may unintentionally distance themselves or behave in ways that make connection more difficult. Their anxiety can manifest as aloofness or disinterest, causing the other person to misinterpret these actions as a lack of feelings. In reality, it's their fear that is driving the distance. Open communication about these fears can help break this cycle, allowing both individuals to feel more secure in expressing their feelings. Lastly, it's important to acknowledge that overcoming the fear of rejection requires vulnerability and courage. It's a challenging journey that involves confronting one's insecurities and taking risks in relationships. Encouraging an environment of acceptance and understanding can help. When partners feel safe expressing their feelings without the fear of judgment, it can lead to deeper connections. By addressing the fear of rejection together, individuals can cultivate a more supportive atmosphere where admiration can be expressed freely, transforming apprehension into genuine closeness. Segment 3. Overthinking and anxiety. Overthinking can be a significant barrier in relationships, especially when it comes to someone who admires you. Individuals may find themselves caught in a cycle of anxious thoughts, replaying every interaction and analyzing every word spoken. This constant rumination can lead to heightened anxiety, making them second-guess their actions and feelings. They might wonder, did I say the wrong thing? Or what if they don't actually like me? This spiraling thought process can create a sense of distance as the admirer becomes consumed by their internal dialogue rather than engaging with you in the present moment. Moreover, overthinking often leads to catastrophizing, where individuals imagine the worst possible outcomes. For someone who admires you, this might manifest as believing that their feelings will never be reciprocated, or that any attempt to connect will end in embarrassment. This fear can become paralyzing, causing them to withdraw rather than risk facing potential rejection. The irony is that while they might admire you deeply, their anxiety about the relationship can push them further away, creating a barrier that feels insurmountable. Another critical aspect of this overthinking is the impact of social media and digital communication. In today's world, messages can be misinterpreted, and the absence of immediate feedback can exacerbate feelings of doubt. Someone who admires you might analyze your social media interactions, wondering if your likes or comments indicate genuine interest or if they're merely friendly gestures. This digital ambiguity can intensify their anxiety, leading them to avoid direct communication altogether. Encouraging open and honest dialogues about feelings can help dispel these uncertainties and foster a more secure connection. Ultimately, combating overthinking and anxiety requires a concerted effort from both individuals. It's essential for the admirer to recognize their thought patterns and understand how they influence their behavior. Practicing mindfulness techniques, such as grounding exercises or journaling, can help them manage their anxiety and focus on the present. Segment 4. The push-pull dynamic. The push-pull dynamic in relationships can be particularly confusing, especially when it comes to someone who admires you. This dynamic often occurs when one person has a strong desire to connect while the other feels overwhelmed by their feelings. The admirer may push for closeness, seeking your attention and affection, only to suddenly pull away due to anxiety or fear of vulnerability. This back and forth can create a sense of emotional whiplash, leaving both individuals feeling uncertain about where they stand. Understanding this dynamic requires recognizing the underlying motivations driving these behaviors. When someone feels a strong attraction or admiration, they may initially be drawn to you, wanting to express their feelings. However, when faced with the reality of those emotions, they might retreat as a self-protective measure. This withdrawal is not an indication of a lack of interest. Rather, it's a response to the intensity of their feelings. They may convince themselves that keeping their distance is safer than risking the emotional turmoil that can accompany deeper connections. Moreover, the push-pull dynamic can create a cycle of frustration and confusion for both partners. The person being admired may feel rejected or unwanted when their admirer pulls away, leading them to question their worth or the validity of the admirer's feelings. This can result in a sense of emotional distance, as the admired individual may interpret the withdrawal as a lack of interest. In turn, the admirer might feel guilty for causing this distance, further entrenching their fear and causing them to pull back even more. This cycle can perpetuate misunderstandings, making it essential to address these patterns openly. Breaking the push-pull cycle requires both partners to engage in honest communication about their feelings and needs. By discussing their emotions openly, they can create a safe space where both individuals feel comfortable expressing their desires without fear of rejection or judgment. Establishing clear boundaries and expectations can also help. For example, if one partner needs space to process their feelings, they can communicate this to the other, who can then offer support without feeling neglected. By working together to understand and navigate the push-pull dynamic, couples can cultivate a healthier, more stable relationship built on trust and mutual understanding. Conclusion: in summary, if you find that someone who admires you often seems to ignore you, remember that their behavior may be rooted in complex psychological truths. Understanding these dynamics can foster empathy and patience. Thank you for joining us today. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time,